be. You got me feeling confusion. Please, not at you when I'm moving. Don't.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jake Adney back again with another video, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on a new Logic Pro 10.5 feature. This is an update that I'm really excited about. For a long time I feel like Logic has been lagging behind FL Studio in a few aspects when it comes to track production and how the drums sound. But in my opinion, that's going to change with this quick sampler. So if you go to instrument, go down, and then here you'll find it, quick sampler, single sample, go to stereo. Now, as you can see here, this is a sampling plugin. This has replaced the EXS24, which was okay for sampling things and sampling drums. It worked fine, but it wasn't that easy to use, and the overall sound you got out of it at the end, especially with drums, felt a little bit muffled and it wasn't really hitting through in the same way that it often hits through in FL. So I'm just going to quickly give you a little overview of this plugin and some different ways you can use it. I might actually make this into a series, so this video will be more of an introduction into the basic features, and then in further videos I'm going to go into detail about how you can really apply this to your music and how you can use each of these features optimally. But the very first feature I want to show you about is actually this voice recorder. Now this is really cool. This is really cool. So essentially what you can actually do is record your own voice, or record any sound for a matter of fact. Even if you had like a guitar or a piano, for example, you could play that and press the record button here, and it will sample that and assign it to a keyboard and map it out so you can play it like an instrument. So I'm just going to use an example as my voice, so excuse my dodgy singing here, but I'm going to sing a note and I'm going to record it, and it will map it to the keyboard and play it, just to give you a quick idea of how this works. La. Okay, so here we go. So now, as you can see, the sample is in here. So I'm going to open musical type in by doing Command K, and now it should be mapped to the whole keyboard. So la 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 la. So as you can hear, it's made a little instrument that actually doesn't sound too bad, just based off a sample of my voice. So, and obviously just raw like that, the sound doesn't sound that good. But this is where you have to get creative, and this is an area I'm going to go more into detail with, about all these different things you can do in the mixer here with all your different effects, that's going to turn a sound like this into something that sounds really, really sick. And you'll actually genuinely be able to use it in a beat that can get a placement, and it will sound really polished. And you could get it to a point where you don't even know that it started off as a vocal, it started off as your voice. So I love this feature because of the fact that you can just record it straight in, and it's so quick. So just to show you a little bit of what we got going on here, we've got a filter. So if you adjust the cutoff, and so as you can see, as you adjust the cutoff, I think most producers know what cutoff does, unless you're a beginner. A cutoff just it cuts off the high end, so the high sounds are getting cut off. If you have it all the way, everything's in. So you can turn up the drive. That gives it a bit of a distortion, a bit of distorted vibe. Cut off with a bit of drive, you can combine it. Resonance. So as you can see, you've got a few features here to mess around with. Another big one here is the Adsr. So this is controlling the whole thing. So that's attack, decay, sustain, release. So you can alter the attack so the sound comes in slower like this. Let me do it a bit more so you can hear it better. See how it fades in? Now, just for the sake of this, I'm going to save that for another video where I'm going to make a beat using this really quickly. But this just gives you a basic idea of some of the parameters you can mess around with. The pitch as well you can mess around with. And the glide. you've got kind of, you could see how if you get creative and mess about with this, you can create a kind of EDM vibe with a vocal sample like this, and you can even work your vocal samples into a trap beat. But yeah, that's just a brief overview. There's obviously a lot more things you can do there, but that's a brief overview of the voice recorder function. So again, you go there and then click record, and it'll you know, you can make whatever sound you want. Doesn't have to be the voice. You could do it with an instrument even, and it will work. So I think that's such a cool feature, so easy to use, and I'm really impressed with Logic for this one. I'm gonna go on factory default, and I'm gonna record default just to get rid of everything I've done. And now I'm gonna show you how you can get say for example a clap or a kick. So I'm gonna go on drum kits, on my drum kits, and I'm just gonna get a random kick, a random clap. Okay, so we've got this Juice WRLD kit. We've got a clap. So this is the clap from Empty. So you literally, you've got it downloaded on your computer. Literally just drag it straight in, drop it, and there you have it. And it's assigned to C3. So let me go back on this so you can see. Close this up. So it's assigned to C3. So if I open musical typing, there it is. But not only that, that's cool in itself, but it automatically pitches it to the entire keyboard. So it's that's going higher and then going lower. So with a clap, you wouldn't really tend to pitch it, but with other instruments, other drum sounds such as hi-hats, such as 808s, and such as synths, this is very, very useful, because you can just straight away put something in and it's going to be pitched and in tune. So it's a really, really useful feature. This is a real level up for Logic, because the EXS24 compared to this was nothing. Like, in terms of how easy it is to use and how quick it is, I mean, I think I can make a beat in like 5 to 10 minutes very easily using just this, and I will do another video doing that if the demand's there. But just in this one, I'm giving you a brief overview. So the clap on C3, it automatically, as you can see, root key C3 there, it assigns the original sound of the clap to C3. And what I like about this sampler, it just sounds a bit better than the EXS24. The way it's hitting, it's obviously clipping a bit, but if I'm to get it to a, if I'll get it to a more reasonable volume, -11, claps like to hit about -7. Just the way it hits, it's hitting clean, but it's still got that little like punch that you'll hear in an FL drum. But anyway, that's just an example of how you do a clap. I'll just show you how to do a pitched instrument as well and how that works. So record default, and I'm going to go back on here. I'm going to get this 808. I like this 808 from Cody. So with 808, I've dragged it straight into the sampler already, and now, as you can see, it's just automatically assigned. And this is where the pitch really comes in useful, because with 808s you need it pitched and you need it tuned, so you can use it like an instrument in tune with your beat. As far as some ways you can adapt the sounds, the ADSR is very useful for the 808. So say if you want a slower release for the a slower attack, sorry, for the 808, because you want the kick to punch through more and you want the 808 to just ride underneath, then see, that just adds a, you can just literally draw the shape here, and you can even take the decay down to give it like a pulsing effect. I'm going to do it high so you can hear it. So if you take the decay down, and you can even alter the release on an 808, this sometimes sounds good. So after you play it, a bit shorter maybe, but after you play the note, it will keep on playing, so like this. And as you can see, that can work quite well with 808s if you just want like you want that kind of sustained 808 sound. You can also change it here to mono, meaning that only one note will play at the same time. So that way you can have a long release, but then you can also switch the notes and the releases won't clash. So like this. So you hear how if I just go like that, the release time just fades out. But if I go, it will only fade out on the last one, and it won't fade out on the first one. It will just go straight onto the last one. So that's a cool feature to clean it up. I'm going to reset the ADSR back to normal, just like that. So if you have it normal, it's quite punchy. But this is a feature I like. I mean, they have this on Alchemy and they had this on the EXS24, but it's just presented slightly differently. And to me, it sounds a bit different. So you've got the pitch and you can glide it. So if I just do a little glide here like this. Let me do a bit more, make it a bit more audible. So I really like how that sounds. So you can really see how Logic finally, with this glide function, I feel is starting to get closer towards the FL 808 glides. Those FL 808 glides, FL is Fruity Loops, for any of you who don't know, it's another DAW, another music making program. But when you hear like the drill beats with the crazy 808s, and also a lot of trap beats with like the gliding 808s, the way it glides in FL from a note to another note is just so different. It just sounds so much better than on Logic for trap beats, and that's why a lot of trap producers do use FL. But with this new sampler, with the quick sampler, I genuinely do feel like Logic is coming closer to getting that FL drum sounds. And let me say this, although FL may be better for some aspects of making purely beats, in terms of music overall, I think Logic is a much more complete package, and this new plugin is really helping to level the beat side of things with FL. I mean, Logic's always been good for beats, but this is just taking it up. This is really giving FL something to think about. So I like it about 100, maybe even a bit more. And then of course again you can detune it, gives it a bit of a more darker vibe, or you can tune it up. That's the fine tune. And then you've also got here the coarse, which is how many semitones. So if you go up 12 semitones, that's an octave. Or if you want to have a different tone, you can change it like that. So that's just a very basic introduction into how this thing works. And I'm just going to quickly show you with a hi-hat as well. So I'll record default just to see how hi-hat pitching can be useful in this. So let's get a hi-hat up. Have we got one in here? Yeah. Okay, this hi-hat's fine. So just as always, so easy. Drag it in, straight there. And as you can see, it is here on the keyboard. So as usual, it's been assigned to C3 root key, which is C3 here. But with a hi-hat, I'm just going to draw you a quick pattern to show how this can be useful. So let me just. So just to quickly demonstrate how the pitching effect is useful for hi-hats. So I've just quantized all of those, put it on 124 to do some rolls. But then if you can do rolls like this. So for example, this might not sound good, but so producers like Southside, Cash Money AP, pretty much every producer will do hi-hat rolls with pitch variation. So just to give you a little demonstration, so you can have it at all different octaves, and it's still going to have that hi-hat sample really nice. So just so you can see really how this quick sampler in Logic, which is yet again a new feature in 10.5, how it can be used to make trap beats. And for me, I know this is just going to affect my workflow so much and make it so much easier to do everything, so much faster, because now, instead of having to save all your sounds into an EXS24, into a sampler like you had to do before, you can simply just drag and drop stuff in that quickly. It really is so quick and so convenient. But yeah, I think that's a good introductory part. I'm going to go more into depth into each individual part of this sampler if there's a demand for the video. So make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below if you want this to be a continued series and you want to see more of this kind of video where I go into depth with some of the new features in Logic. So yeah, let me know down below as well what other music related content you want to see, whether that's tutorials or beats or cook up videos where I'm making beats. Let me know down below in the comments what you want to see. This has been your boy Jay Cadney, back again with another video, and I'm out until the next time. Thank you for everyone watching. I will see you in the next video.